welcome to another episode of our Let's G podcast. Okay, so today in the studio with me, I have June.
Hi.
Kalissa.
Hi.
And Xavier.
Hello.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is actually one of the more interesting topic that I would say is $1 million HDB. Okay, so anybody know what is the highest transacted HDB price so far right now in the market?
Was it the 1.5881 one?
1.5, I think it's one
so
of
high already.
Most recent is the 1.568 one. But I think the highest was 1.58.
Yeah.
Confirm,
Confirm.
Nothing hit 1.6.
I don't know.
Nothing.
I hope not.
How come so high nowadays?
I don't know, you must ask the people who pay for it. Okay, so with HDB actually going up to about 1.58 or in future maybe 1.6 million, right? Actually, what is your view on this entire thing? Maybe I ask June first.
I think, right, wow, 1.6 now, it's really very, very high. In my honest opinion, if personally I had 1.6 million, I might not choose to get a HDB with a 99-year lease. But of course, that's just my personal take. I understand that some buyers, maybe because they like the location, they like the space, they might be willing to pay for it. What about you guys? What do you think?
I think a lot of times this kind of HDB transact so high is because the price gap between the private and the HDB is quite wide. So to get in the same location, the same size, you probably will pay maybe at least 1.5 to 2 times the price.
Okay, so you're saying that if let's say today if you're buying a 1.5 million HDB in the same locality, right, a private development would go for about 1.5 or 2 times more, which is about 2.5 million to 3 million range.
Yes.
Right. So what about Kalissa?
Especially I think if we are talking about the size as well, I think it depends on whether this person has what kind of lifestyle and needs as well. So I feel that for $1 million HDB, right, I realize most of them are located at very prime areas.
Yep.
Like for myself, I have a listing at City View. It's going for 1.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
4 room
5 room actually.
Oh, 5 room.
Yeah, but
okay.
it's a DBSS but it's actually very, very central, minutes walk to MRT. And the size actually is about 1,001 square feet. So I think it's quite decent, compared to condo, right?
I realized that DBSS especially, there are a lot of them that are going above $1 million, even in Tampines region.
Yeah.
And I think some characteristics of those very rare HDBs that cross the million mark is they are quite high floor, nice view, and nicely renovated.
Similar, you can see that there's actually similar attributes for all those 1.4 to 1.6 million range HDB that has been transacted, all high floor, good location, well renovated mostly, almost moving condition. But I think people who buy at this price, they will come in, they will still renovate one. Yeah. But if you ask me today, right, will I pay a 1.5 to 1.6 million for HDB? I may or may not. It really depends on what is my needs and preference.
So I think this kind of HDBs, right, the buyer profile generally I think categorized in 2 big groups. One would be downgraders.
You mean downgraders from private?
Yeah, private downgraders. Of course, now we have to wait out the 15 months.
15 months,
Yeah.
correct.
The other group of buyers would be probably young buyers that
Nowadays,
have
young
the
buyers getting
affordability.
richer and richer.
Yeah.
And to them it's they just want a house that satisfies the size and location, and they will just stay put.
Yep.
Yeah, and they probably invest their money elsewhere.
For young buyers itself, a lot of people want to take advantage of grants as well, like CPF grants, EHG grants, proximity housing grants.
Yep.
So as a first-time home buyers, if let's say financially both you and your spouse can afford a 1 million HDB, why not utilize the CPF grants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because for youngsters these days, the location is very important, and transportation the transport, the convenience to your workplace, to lifestyle, to bars, to nightlife area, or to spin class, for example. mostly are in central areas. So I think people, they really are buying just because it gives them all they need in that area.
So $1.5 million for spin class
You can say so. maybe that's what I would think because people these days are getting, they really do have very good work-life balance. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to throw you guys a question. If it's all about space, it's all about location, right? Then why not buy an EA or EM? I think you can get that for under $1 million. But nowadays, you notice that those that are above $1 million mainly are 4 rooms and 5 rooms.
Yep.
Of course, they may have a newer lease. Yeah, but in terms of space, definitely EA and EM would grant you more space.
Yep.
I think the issue to suggest this, right, I think it's about the lease decay issue. Because I think I have buyers who are keen in EM, just specifically EM, because the space is the biggest for HDB.
And they're really okay one.
And they are really okay. But they know financially it doesn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, it's an emotional buy.
Correct. But they will still go for it. But of course, at the end of the day, they have to be aware of the lease issue. Because EMs generally are very old.
So I don't know what's the youngest EM in Singapore now, but I presume EM will be at
Didn't
least
they stop building
30,
it in
40 years old.
96?
9.6
Right? Was
9.6?
it 9.6?
I don't know. If it's 9.6 means it's 20.
That's still okay.
7 years
28
old
lah.
lah.
Yeah.
28
Yeah.
years old lah.
Yeah, so
跟我
the
差不多一样老。
EMs is like generally like 30 plus years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if let's say a younger buyer, I mean today you want to get space, right? And you want to buy an EA or EM, the problem is most of this have a balance list of about 60,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or maybe even lesser. So with the thing that they have to fulfill for them to utilize their CPF as well as their loan.
Which is the minimum 95 years. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Has
95 lah.
to, what is it, last the youngest buyer until
youngest buyer.
95.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah, so that one will be a challenge. So I mean, buying into newly MOP or like about 10 years HDB flat for that price tag, maybe they still see a certain runway for this property to appreciate over time.
Right.
Yeah, lah.
Right.
And making money maybe it's not the most important
Priority,
thing.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a priority for them right now because I think youngsters these days they know how to make their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean last time,
That's true.
last time you all want to make money, you all do what? Go like
It's work or part-time
go work part time,
or-
Yeah,
like
really.
$6-7 per
Physical
hour.
labor.
Yeah, physical labor. Nowadays, like youngsters, they just go on TikTok, for example. They just go do live.
Invest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and or maybe like
influencer
crypto.
lah.
Yeah, maybe.
Invest in
Yeah.
like stocks and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that's why like maybe the younger generation of home buyers are getting more affluent and they are very savvy in their home purchase as well. Because I've met people who actually tell me that it's really for own stay and I don't mind paying this kind of price tag. Yeah, because my other form of investment actually makes more sense than putting my money in property.
Right.
And locking in so much,
Many
into-
of them start investing a lot earlier than us, than we used to, rather than our parents did.
times have changed.
So actually, I have
Yeah.
like my recently transacted, right? So it was like a property in MacPherson, and that was like a 4-room and very low floor unit. And
How
then
low is very low?
level 5.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean transacted
okay.
at 920,000.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And it's not like a freshly MOP. It's like I think 10 years already. Yeah, and the buyer is a single buyer that just turned 35.
Wow. So
Yeah.
do you ask them why they were willing to pay so much for the unit? I mean,
Yeah,
of
so-
course, after you close lah.
Yeah. So I asked her why would you pay so much, and you're like a single buyer, right? I think at this price range, she can easily buy like a 2-bedder.
Exactly.
And because of the loan that you can take, right, you can easily buy like 1.2 to 1.5 million.
Somehow when you take a HDB loan, you're following the MSR, right?
Correct,
the
correct.
mortgage servicing
Correct.
ratio. So if you're looking into the private, that means that your whole budget there's an extra like 30%
Yes.
there. There's
Yeah.
a difference between, okay, not 30%, extra 25%
Yeah.
TDSR versus the MSR. You can loan more, then you can buy a bigger quantum.
Correct, correct. Yeah, so I think for her, she just liked the location, relatively walking distance to MRT, and then it's the MacPherson area, so she liked it, pretty close to her parents and all. So she decided to go for it.
Yeah, because when I see like prime location housing HDB flats, right? Actually, even myself, I'll be very emotional also. When I step my eyes to go and look at that kind of like 1 million over, because it's really you have everything that you need.
You
leh.
need, yeah.
Yeah. Then why must I like 1.2 or 1.3 million budget? Then I go and stay at other places,
Yeah, but the
outskirts.
agent's
You know?
supposed to be
Yeah.
the logical one.
Yeah, but it is supposed to be, I would say, neutral and logical. We have
Yeah.
to see like in terms of entry and exit. But I can understand how these people feel when they go in, they step in, the view is really amazing. Yeah, but I mean, no right, no wrong if let's say you were to go so much for, to pay so much for HDB. But who knows, maybe HDB will hit 2 million. Do you all think it will hit 2 million?
I think it's a matter of time that we hit 2 million.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's a likelihood.
Like
lah.
if you see
Yeah.
all the BTOs now that are like less than 5 years, like in the 3 to 4 years time, they're going to easily hit like 1 million because they were buying at like 600, 700, 800,000.
Yeah.
3 to 4 years time.
Yeah,
In the
easily
wise
1 million.
words of Xavier.
Easily
3 to
1
4 years
million.
time later, we check back with you.
Easily 1 million.
Yeah.
But do you think the government is doing anything to like control the speed of growth? Because specifically $1 million HDBs, right? I think it was only in the recent years, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that we started seeing them breach this $1 million mark. And next thing we know, very, very quickly, it started breaching 1.5 million already. This rise is almost as if there is, like the government needs to do something about it. I think they're also feeling the heat that they want to do something about it. That's why there was the prime and plus location housing that was introduced, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe, Kalisa, what do you think about that?
Actually, for prime and plus housing, I think it's actually definitely a way that government is trying to cool the market, right? So for prime and plus housing, if we dive deep into the details,
Yep.
like they have this like 14K income ceiling cap for buyers. So that's something that I find it quite interesting. So, in a
So when
sense-
they buy, it's 14K.
Exactly.
When they want to sell, they
Yeah.
need to sell
Buy,
to the same buyer that
Exactly. And
has a
then,
cap of 14K.
correct. Then your selling price is also capped because their budget is capped. So essentially, in the future, when they sell it after 10 years MOP, right, the selling price is very capped. Yeah, and I think another thing that I realized was that there's this like subsidiary clawback as well.
Yep.
It's like
6%.
6 to 8%, I think, of like the
Oh my
sale
goodness.
proceeds. So it means that as a seller, right, my capital gains is very, very capped. Yeah, when I actually
Unless you
sell
have
my
a super
house.
cash rich buyer lah, that's willing
Exactly,
to
unless
pay.
I'm a super cash rich. And I mean, not talking about the MOP that is 10 years as well. So let's just imagine our age right now, like 25, they just BTO.
Oh, you're
let's say,
25.
You're 25?
I mean, example.
How are you? Like, I'm legit
I'm
curious.
27, just add 2 more years. But 25 for easy
I'm shocked
math.
you tell me 25, I'm like, huh?
For easy math, because that's like the BTO age. So if I add 5 years, okay, conservatively,
So
like
video 25.
5 years, 5 years, right? Okay, let's say by 30 I get my home, and
Yep.
then after 10 years, then I can sell my flat. So that's like I'm like 40 years already.
Yep.
And then like by the time I can sell, right, my asset progression is very capped because of my loan tenure. So I'm left with like what 25 years to actually loan lah.
Yeah.
So if I reduce loan, that means my next purchase price is also very capped.
Yeah,
Not
lah.
only that,
Yeah.
your monthly installments will also be higher because
Exactly.
your loan tenure is shorter.
Exactly. Correct.
So I just want to want to tap on touch on Kalis's point, right? Because you see, right, prime location housing. So who are because even prime location housing, right? When the government actually HDB when they put up for sale, right? The response is also quite not bad, right? There's
Exactly.
also people
I
who
hear
are really
it's
buying.
oversubscribed, right?
It's
Yeah.
oversubscribed, right?
Yeah.
It means that people are also very clear, like, hey, I know that the government is trying
To
very
cool the
hard
market.
to cool the market
Yeah.
down and make it not seem like, hey, I buy this property, so that I can make a windfall out of it in future. Yeah, but people are very clear, they go into it and apply for this kind of BTO, right? But they know that there's this limitation in future as well. Yeah, lah. But then, okay, because with this introduction we have been in the market for quite some time, right? With this introduction of PLH, right, prime location housing, right?
Yep.
We also seen surrounding or maybe other prime location resale owners, they know that there will be a cap on how much that PLH can grow. So this kind of resale owners, these resale owners, right, they know that, hey, my one have no restriction. So what is my selling price now? Should I actually adjust my selling price higher because I know that there's no restrictions at all? This is what we also see from this introduction of PLH.
I mean, like for the new 2 BTO projects that I see that were just launched for PLH, right? They are like at Tanjong Rhu and one was at, I think, Holland Village area. Yeah, but
How come you don't know that? Don't
no,
do
but I was
HDB.
just looking through. But the Holland Village one, honestly, the location was very prime because I saw it's just like 5 minutes walk to Holland Village.
Yeah.
And honestly, Holland Village is a very, very good area lah. Like
Very.
AC, JC, all the good schools are nearby. So if we are just considering as a family, like just want our own home stay purposes, like it does make sense for them to actually want to go for properties like this lah.
And I think Holland Village has really changed a lot in the last couple of years, right? With the new mall and the MRT also getting more and more developed, the whole place has transformed, and naturally prices are going to go up in
Yeah.
areas like that also.
Yeah.
So, HDB an asset or liability? Okay, I think that's a key question. When you put 1.5 million or 1.6 million into this thing, do you see it as an asset or a liability? What do you think, Jun?
Personally, I think, again, it does go back to what the buyer wants out of the purchase. Of course, if it's purely for own stay, they may not mind as much, even if it's being seen as a liability. But on my end, personal preference only, I just caveat, I feel that I would rather go for a private property.
Okay.
Reason being, when it comes to a HDB, we all know what 99 years lease means, right? It means that after that whole 99 years has been used up, the HDB has to be returned to the government and the value drops to absolutely zero. So today, if you are buying a HDB that's 5 years old, 10 years old, or 20 years old at $1.5 million, $1.6 million, are you mentally prepared that in 80 years' time or less, this $1.6 million will return to absolutely
Zero, right?
yeah.
I think a lot of people, they have that thinking that, eventually my HDB will fall under SERS, which is the Selective En Bloc Redevelopment Scheme,
Yeah.
which is
Okay,
en bloc lah.
Yeah.
In short, but HDB is called SERS lah. But the government has already put it very clear that I think only like 3 to 5% of the entire HDB population, right, will be selected for SERS. Yeah.
So I sold a property in Tanjong Pagar. Then
You sold a lot of property,
okay lah, no lah.
location, bro.
Okay lah, just these few properties again. So
Okay,
Tanjong
okay.
Pagar, 4 room,
Yep.
right? And then the balance leave is about 54 years. Okay,
Okay, that's
the
old.
buyer also is like 35 or 36 years old, also single buyer. And
Why
then
you always attract single buyer at
Yeah.
the front?
no, I just so happens. I sell other HDB also.
I think we need to debunk this. Why is
Why he would attract
Why
single
is,
buyers?
Xavier
why are
attracting
single buyers buying to prime location?
Yeah, because
okay.
Yeah, because they attract single
I think it's
buyers.
because of the location and the proximity to like amenities and stuff. So, so the parents actually came down and asked me, "Hey Xavier, I asked you a question. So I buy this property from you, left 54 years. Then my daughter only 35 years old.
Okay.
So you think this property will go for en bloc? Will go
Okay.
for search?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I say, wow, uncle, I think even your minister come down and you ask the minister, he also won't be able to reply you whether it will be
Yeah.
en bloc or what.
Yeah.
So my stand was like, this search thing is not guaranteed.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it may
it's
be in a
not
very prime
guaranteed lah.
location, but it may not be. You may not go through search. The government may just take back the house. Yeah.
And in
Yeah,
all
made it very
honesty,
clear.
when it comes to en bloc also, I think be it HDB or be it private property, also nobody dare to promise whether in the private market also buyers will come
Yeah.
and tell us, "Eh, you think this one I buy already will en bloc or
Yeah.
not? 25 years old private condo." We also don't dare to tell them. We can let them know, oh, it has been attempted a few times before,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
a non-guarantee. Yeah, but personally, I also feel that if we're doing a comparison between a HDB and a private condo, when you look at it in the eyes of the bank also, it's quite different. Apparently, banks see HDBs as not an asset. They don't see HDBs as an asset to begin with.
Why?
Why? I think because it's a lease from the government.
Okay.
But 99 years also, condo also lease, ma.
I do agree. But you see, when you take a 99-year-old lease, a 99-year leasehold condo, and you bring it to the bank and you say that, hey, I'm going through a bad time now and I need to loan money against my property. You are still able to pull money out because they see your condominium as an asset. But as a HDB, you won't be able to do so. They
So
don't
this-
recognize it.
Yep. So this is the equity term loan that we're talking about, like gearing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
lah.
people call it gearing
So,
up, yeah.
so in a nutshell, is a private development, 99 years, I can gear up, which means that I can take money out and I loan against my property. But for HDB, I can't do it. Why? So is it because
Because it belongs to Zheng Hu.
this one's subjective?
Subjective.
Yeah, subjective. But then again, I mean, like, but we know, like, I mean, this one also for
Yeah.
our audience, right? When they see, hey, you know that your HDB, you can't borrow against it. You can't use it as a collateral. I don't know whether last time can or not. Because I don't know, like I sometimes hear people last time say that my HDB when I actually diya lah, I take whatever
Yeah,
lah.
yeah,
that kind. Yeah, but I think the closest
I
thing,
heard of it before.
yeah, like last time I have like you meet those like a little bit more senior people. Like, "Oh, last time HDB can this, HDB can that," but I think HDB have done a lot to control, how people actually manage their property right now. And I think the closest thing that, if we talk about getting an ETL, which is equity term loan, out of your HDB, is lease buyback scheme.
Yep.
The lease buyback scheme lah. Yeah. But lease buyback scheme also have its limitation. But the moment you do it, you can't sell in the open market.
Lease buyback
Only
is
sell
for
back to
old people.
HDB.
Very old people.
Hey, don't say people old leh.
For the
Senior citizen.
Why you say senior citizen, then you point to me? I know.
I just like that for the senior
Oh,
citizen.
senior citizen.
Yeah. So there's limitation on lease buyback as well lah. The
Yeah.
moment you do it, you
Yeah.
can't sell in the open market already. But if let's say you do equity term loan, it just means that you're taking out a bigger loan. Means let's say my outstanding loan now is 300,000. I want to bump up my loan to maybe let's say 800,000. So I take 500K out of my property. Then I take a 500K debt. Yeah, but I can still sell in the open market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that your monthly mortgage becomes higher.
Higher lah. Yeah. So another challenge also, if let's say today we were to put in a substantial amount of money into our HDB flat, right? One thing that I think our viewers as well as the audience, right, they need to know is that today HDB, there's this thing that a private development don't have.
Yep.
Which is what? You know what I'm going to say?
I
What
know.
is it?
I'm gonna say it,
What?
which is the EIP quota, the ethnic integration policy quota.
Oh.
Yeah, because to be honest, like this issue is something that I actually face a lot. I have represented quite a few clients. I mean, serve HDB clients, right? They actually have met with issues like that.
HDB sellers are trying to
Yeah,
offload lah.
sellers, correct. So, I mean, for the audiences who are not sure what EIP is, basically it's actually a measure by HDB to really balance out the racial distributions in HDB estates, right? So, like for example, right now I have a listing, back to my listing at City View.
Yep.
Actually, at the area, it's very, very popular among Chinese. Okay, however, my unit is actually restricted to Chinese because there's
Okay.
just too many Chinese race in that area,
Yeah.
right? So I feel that the main challenges that HDB sellers might face is that, like for my unit, right, I face a lot of low ballers, right? People who try to lowball the unit because they say like, oh, no,
Your unit cannot sell.
Yeah, no, your unit has VIP quota.
Your unit cannot sell to Chinese.
Yes, because my unit cannot sell to Chinese. So in a sense, right, you might not get very genuine offers.
Yeah,
or
and
might
also
get
because
lowballers.
the pool of buyers become very, very limited also.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I would say for Chinese, we made out of like 80% in Singapore's population. So that makes it even
To have a restriction on
Correct.
80% of
exactly.
the buyer pool.
It's a huge challenge lah. But I would say that not all hopes are lost lah. So for myself, I did actually manage to successfully appeal for some of my sellers before. So one of them that I represented.
It is not easy. I
It's
tried
very,
before.
very,
it's not
very
easy.
tough.
I tell you, you got
Yeah.
tried before, no?
I never tried
You
before.
got tried before.
I also never
Lucky I
tried.
never. I have
Like let's don't encounter that.
haven't
It's a good
already.
thing that you don't encounter lah. But
Exactly,
I encountered
exactly.
It's really very difficult one.
Exactly,
It's
exactly.
really very hard because I mean
Yeah.
this whole thing is put in place to ensure that there's racial harmony, ma.
Yeah,
Can I say like
correct.
this or not? And I think
Exactly.
it's a good
Measure by the
It's a good
government.
measure by the
It's a
government.
good-
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good measure by the government. But sometimes for us realtors, right, or maybe homeowners, it's very shag.
Exactly.
Really
Yeah.
very
If you-
shag.
if you happen to meet,
So you have
very
any
shag.
like
Yeah.
tips?
Have tips. So right,
Zunbo.
really. I have
Okay.
Tested and
encountered-
proven tips.
Tested and proven, correct. But I think like two tips that I have, right, is that definitely first is like you have to make sure that at least your seller has stayed in the place for at least like 10 years. That's one. And
Okay.
then second thing is you must make sure that this seller has made like genuine attempts to try to offload the unit.
Which means
Yeah.
that selling your property at
Reasonable asking price and must be at least within 6 months of marketing efforts.
Oh.
So
As in at least 6 months of marketing.
at least 6 months of marketing efforts. If not, everybody will just go and appeal. Then
Yeah.
there won't be such measure in place really.
So because
Yeah.
every month they actually renew,
Revise the
right? They
quota.
revise the quota. So consecutively for 6 months, you were not allowed to sell to Chinese buyers
Yes.
at all.
Not at all. But to be honest, this quota very hard to change. Yeah, very, very hard to change.
Was it an old HDB flat?
No, it's City View. It's like
City View quite
2011,
new,
10
ah.
years, about 10 years
okay,
old.
okay,
It's actually not old. It's just that the area is very popular, like with that group of buyers.
I had one case that
Exactly.
initially couldn't sell to
Oh, then it got
Chinese.
revised.
It got revised after 2 months of waiting.
Wow.
Then you
Then you
lucky.
must be lucky. Yeah.
Lucky.
This one is really heng sui one.
It's very,
I swear,
very luck.
It's really
Yeah, correct. So I think like these two criteria lah. Then I would say you have to like as agents lah. Okay, we have to like feedback to the HDB, and I would say provide as much evidence as possible to show that you know.
So the
have
feedback is
provided-
you write one or owner write
I
one?
write one lah. You know,
Then you
it's
ask the
my
owner
job.
to send.
Yeah. I mean, what I do is basically compile, okay, and of course, like I would say, get the owners to actually feedback to the HDB, but you have to compile as well, like, as much as possible for your
What do you
sellers.
compile? Like all
Compile
the
the
amount of
viewing
viewings that
requests.
you
Viewing
No lah,
request.
so basically, Kalisa
Yeah.
put everything together.
Exactly.
Then
Then you
the owner,
screenshot the WhatsApp inquiry all
No
this.
lah, not WhatsApp.
then the
inquiries
owner
lah.
actually put it up to HDB.
Exactly,
Not she
exactly.
put up to HDB one.
I
She was
see,
not
I
the
see.
owner.
Must
She's just a
correct
realtor.
myself. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, this one must say properly.
Must say
Cannot
properly.
You know, agent a lot of things to
I tell
do.
you,
Yeah, exactly.
the next thing we kena caught already. What agent always appeal suddenly next day
Yeah.
tomorrow HDB website all the appeal letter coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So also I forgot what to say already lah. I legit forgot what to say already lah.
What do I say?
What do you want to say?
I forgot already.
Yeah,
I mean,
quota.
it's, okay, but I managed to open up. Oh, I wanted to say this thing is that I mean, not just go and try because you feel like selling. There must be legitimately.
Valid
Oh, yeah,
reasons
there's
lah.
valid reasons
Must be
why
Yeah,
you
valid
must
sell.
be, the
reasons.
valid reason is the most important. Like,
Yes.
why do you need to sell?
Correct.
If I don't sell, what will happen? You know, that kind of thing. And of course, with like what Kalisa said, like
Yeah.
records, evidence of like you have done substantial marketing to this property and can't sell lah. Yeah. So I mean, yeah lor. So this is really the restrictions. If let's say you buy an HDB and sway you kena this
EIP
EIP,
lah.
then
So the good about private is don't have this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
EIP.
exactly. That's the
You
good
can
thing
really
about
sell to anybody.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, who knows? Who knows? One day the government may have certain restrictions as well. We won't know what's
Hopefully
gonna
not.
happen lah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
You can hear the fear in his voice.
You know,
As a
agent very hard.
private owner.
It gets harder.
Yeah, but again, it's a good initiative from it's a good initiative from the government.
It's a good- it's a
good-
to have this in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, lor.
Yeah.
So I mean, we talk about prime location housing, talk about EIP, right? Actually, back to the main topic, which is 1.6 million HDB flat, right? Is the government doing anything about it, right? Okay, prime location housing is actually, in a way, do you all view it as a cooling measure?
I think so.
Definitely.
Cooling measure.
Yeah.
Definitely a clean
Yeah,
measure.
it's not an open cooling measure, but we all know that it's a
Yeah.
cooling measure by the
Yeah.
government.
I think in fact the 10 years already some
very
buyers
obvious.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very obvious. Some buyers are against 10 years. Imagine like you have to lock yourself in the same location, the same house for 10
For
years
10
and you
years.
cannot do anything about it. Yeah, I think that itself already like remove a lot of buyers.
And do you
already.
notice it seems like there are more and more locations that are being marked as PLH?
What the
Really?
Southern side?
I don't know. I really
We're
don't know.
waiting for your continuation.
Okay, no, I saw this map recently, like, and I just noticed that more and more places are being marked as PLH, and
I see.
the term for the MOP is marked as longer for those, like, because they're either prime locations or plus locations. Yeah, and I wonder if in the years to come, this will just keep increasing and increasing until will it be such that one day there's just a blanket ruling, MOP is no longer 5 years, it's now 10 years.
Yeah.
Just like previously SSD was 4 years and now it's 3 years. Things can change, ma.
You know, right? While you're on this, right? I suddenly have this thinking.
Yeah.
You know, the government has been trying to decentralize also in a way whereby they are transforming Jurong to be second CBD. So in future, will Jurong HDB flat also have 10 years MOP? Wow, shit, so like, wow, like Jurong second CBD, then the CBD area, which is core area, also have considered prime location. I mean, we never know what's going
I
to
feel
happen.
like eventually there will be 3 cores. One in the east, one in the west, and one in... Yeah, just might take lah.
Okay.
3 cores.
Yeah.
Then
But-
the east core is what?
Huh?
South, east, west.
East is
Left for
another
more.
core lah. They start with Jurong, then after that east also ma, where the airport and Jewel and everything
Shag,
is.
I go and stay Pulau Tokong already.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then again, right, it's very obvious that there's a lot of cooling measures or like
Yeah.
measures taken to cool down the market, and because ultimately HDB is for what?
Yeah.
It's meant to be affordable
Affordable
for
living for all.
for lower to middle income class family ma. I mean everybody needs a roof over their head, and if it continues to go up like this, right, it's going to become very unaffordable. Yeah lah. So which means right, there will always be, I would say, I mean that's what I feel like, there will always be a cap in terms of how much your HDB can appreciate before the government steps in.
Yeah.
And it's very
Yeah.
obvious because
Yeah.
latest news. Do you know what's the latest news? Have you all seen the latest news?
Point me in
What's
the
the
right
latest
direction.
news?
I don't know what you're
The
talking
latest
about.
news is 50. Okay, so recently HDB came out with this
Oh, I
new
know that
HDB
news.
Resale
resale
portal,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Is it called resale portal?
Yes.
HDB
HDB resale
portal.
portal.
HDB
yeah.
resale portal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
50 listings are being asked to take down or readjust their pricing. Yeah, because why?
Because they anyhow put price.
Unrealistic
Very
pricing.
high.
Unrealistic pricing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So you see, right? I mean, today some sellers they want to sell their house themselves, but they have a predetermined price that they want to sell at.
Yeah.
But imagine you put it up and the government say no.
You cannot.
no, the government, the HDB
say
say
no.
no. You must sit
Yeah.
down and you must sell at this price.
Yeah.
Well, like, this means what? Like, I mean, like, it just means that, like,
It's almost like they're trying to control the pricing.
Yeah, it's actually very obvious lah. That they're
We're
doing
just
that.
curious, that when the HDB portal came up, right? Did any of your
Right, is it?
did any of your owners say, okay lah, I want to sell myself?
No eh.
Don't have, don't
Actually,
have.
for mine, don't have.
Don't have.
Didn't
I also don't have,
encounter.
mine, I mean, they just ask us to list also because we all
Correct.
appointed agents, we can help them to list.
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
It became an additional platform law. So they said, hey, now this resale flat portal came up, and then there is an additional platform for us to list the property also. Maybe it will increase the amount of eyeballs. Then we will
Yeah.
just get the
Additional
agent,
resources.
Yeah, the agent to
Yeah.
list it for them law.
Yeah.
But definitely there will be people that try to sell themselves also After all, people that want to sell their HDB themselves will always be trying to sell it themselves. Last time they do it on Carousel. Now
Facebook.
they do it on resale flat.
Yeah.
They say, wow, house can I sell on Facebook?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
you
before.
can.
Yeah,
A lot of methods.
A lot of
There's
methods.
There's a way.
Yeah, a lot of
Who dare to
methods.
buy this?
They can do live also. TikTok live, I'm selling my house.
Hi, I'm selling my house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, of course, I mean, all these platforms, you can sell anything you want. You just have to follow the certain regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's our take on HDB in general. 1.5, 1.6 million HDB, will it go to 2 million sooner or later, depending on like how much the prices are going at right now.
Yeah.
But we also don't know what is going to come in terms of like the government measures and anything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you pay so much for HDB, if you like it, then just go for it lah.
Yeah.
Right, there's no right or wrong lah. But if let's say you're looking to explore more options, definitely I think it's wise to speak to somebody professional and explore your options and see is there better.
alternatives.
Yeah.
alternatives.
Yeah, whether for the same budget you can get something else or not.
Yep. Okay, I think we more or less have already touched on the points that we want to speak today. Anybody have anything else to add on?
No lah.
Mel?
No,
Confirm? Mel?
我们的
nothing. What
That's
what you want to add on?
Our viewers got questions or not?
Yeah.
If they have, then leave it in the comment box below.
Yeah.
Then we'll
Okay.
talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah, lah, maybe we'll talk about it. We can come together and discuss again when we see a $2 million HDB transacted.
Okay.
Might be soon. Who knows?
Or like
maybe.
Xavier says in 3 to 4 years.
No, but okay, sorry. Before we cut, right, I just
Yeah.
talk about the Toa Payoh listing that is listing at 2 million, is it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
yeah,
straight away
yeah.
kena
listing.
call out by the government. That one.
Because it was two separate units, right? So they were not able to sell it as a single title to begin with. Is that the one that you're talking about?
Am I? Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Was it that one? Yeah.
Oh, I only
So
know that.
it's two
I only
separate
know it's 2
units,
million.
then
It's two
join.
separate units. So I think they hacked. They I think maybe brother owns one, sister owns one.
Then they
hacked
hack,
the wall in between.
You're allowed to hack
But
the
in
HDB
order
wall.
to buy it, you still have to have.
Wait, you're allowed to hack the HDB wall.
Don't quote me on it. It's not my house.
Yeah, I think can. Last time,
Last time
Now,
can.
now
Last
I
time.
think maybe also.
Then
still
it's
can.
called multi-generational house.
It's macam like jumbo.
Jumbo.
Jumbo,
ah.
Some
will claim
They
jumbo.
sell it as a
But
jumbo.
we
lah.
hardly come across this kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, very,
listings,
very rare.
Special
Yeah.
cases.
But the only thing that I remember out of that listing is that
2 million.
the listing photo is not very well taken.
Oh,
You haven't seen it? I only know
I
the
didn't
TV.
see, I
The
didn't
TV
see.
was
No.
on, and then the TV have the woman on the TV.
Oh.
Like, it's like
Wow.
古代戏one, wearing the headgear. Or whatever. If I remember correctly, lah.
I didn't
So I was
see.
just thinking as a realtor, if let's say I'm going to market
yeah.
I mean, not say must be above 1 million or 2 million that I take professional photo.
Wow, but 很cacat sia.
Yeah, I mean, if we market even a 250k three
Yeah.
room flat HDB,
Yeah.
250k, we also at least take a little bit better lah.
No, at the bare
Yeah, lah,
minimum.
but don't hate me. I'm just saying my opinion. Could have gotten a professional photographer to come and shoot.
Exactly. I think at the
Yeah.
bare minimum, it shows the seller, it shows our clients how much we respect their home.
Yep.
Because this is probably one of their biggest assets that they have.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
The least we can do is to take proper photos of their house rather than, take one handphone, then never even angle properly.
Anyhow
in
do the
house.
job, then just post.
Yeah.
No, I've seen even funnier one is I saw people lying naked on the sofa.
I know, I know, I know.
Wow,
That time the listing,
That's how you send one. It's like the kids were inside the photo.
the kids were inside.
Yeah.
I'm not only that. The owner is like
naked.
like that on the sofa. All
Wow.
Then
Oh,
everything was on the
God.
floor. Then they never cleared the
Wow,
floor.
I don't know, sir. That one I don't know what happened.
Just
lah, but
take it for the sake of it lah.
It's just
Yeah.
funny lah.
Yeah,
I will
yeah,
come back
yeah.
another day. The owner also listed in the house.
Yeah.
Hopefully not sold together with the house.
But okay, thank you
Yeah.
guys for coming and have this discussion with us, and we will see you guys on the next episode of our Let's G podcast. Okay, bye.